He's been shot at, lied to, and pushed to the edge, but somehow Jamal's still breathing. For how long, though? With enemies closing in and the streets colder than ever, the real question is this: can Jamal survive season 7? Or is he already living on borrowed time? Jamal used to walk the streets of the South Side with headphones in and his dreams turned up loud, trying to drown out the sirens, the arguments, the weight of his family's struggles. He wasn't trying to be a kingpin or a gangster. Back then, he was just a kid with a cracked phone, a part-time job, and too much responsibility on his back. He looked after his little brother when his mom worked late, heated up dinner from the night before, and always made sure the front door was locked. Even then, he knew danger lived just outside that door, and sometimes it didn't even knock. Jamal grew up watching people disappear either to jail, to violence, or just to silence. People in the neighborhood didn't say goodbye. One day they were there, the next day they were a mural on a brick wall. He swore he'd be different. But the Chi has a way of pulling even the strongest into the storm. His cousin Reggie was the first one to show him that power comes with pain. Reggie wasn't just some corner hustler, he ran things. Everyone respected him, and Jamal admired that. He wanted that same strength, that same loyalty, but what he didn't see was the cost. Reggie had enemies, he had blood on his hands. And Jamal was about to find out that when you're close to power, the fallout hits you just as hard. It started with little things, running messages, holding onto money, watching the corner for cops, harmless stuff. At least that's what Jamal told himself. But once you're in, it's never harmless. It's never simple. And by the time Reggie got locked up, Jamal was already known in the streets. Not because he wanted to be, but because he had no choice. If he didn't step up, someone else would, and that someone might not care about protecting the people he loved. Season 5 painted Jamal as a shadow, always around, always watching. He wasn't a central figure yet, but you could feel his story building. You saw it in how he moved. He said little, but his eyes spoke volumes. He paid attention, he learned, he waited. And slowly, people started noticing Jamal wasn't reckless. Like some of the others, he was calculated, cold when he had to be, and always a step ahead. But deep down, he still wanted out. He still believed in something better. That belief started to crack in season 6. After Reggie's arrest, Jamal found himself with a target on his back. Everyone thought he'd crumble under pressure, but instead, he rose. He started making calls, organizing moves, and cutting off anyone who couldn't be trusted. This was survival mode, no room for emotions, no time for hesitation. But it was also the moment Jamal began to change. One of the biggest hits came early that season, when his best friend Marcus got caught in a drive-by meant for Jamal. Marcus didn't make it, and Jamal never forgave himself. That moment shifted something in him. He stopped trying to hold on to the past. The streets didn't care who you were, only what you were willing to do. From that point forward, Jamal hardened. He stopped smiling. He stopped trusting. He started planning for war. But that shift came at a cost. The girl Jamal had been with since high school saw the changes before anyone else. She loved the old Jamal, the one who wrote music, who read poetry, who wanted to leave the city and start a business. She didn't recognize the version of him who carried a gun under his hoodie and made threats like promises. She tried to reach him, begged him to leave the game, but Jamal had already crossed the line. He told her it was for protection, that he was doing it for his family. But Nia wasn't blind. She knew where this path led. And when Jamal missed her birthday to handle a situation, that was her breaking point. She walked away, not because she stopped loving him, but because she knew the streets would take him first. Then came the fallout with Tracy. Tracy had always seen something in Jamal, even when others didn't. She ran a community group that tried to keep the youth off the streets. and she offered Jamal a different path more than once. For a while, he listened. He even helped organize a few events. But when Tracy found out about the weapons moving through the neighborhood and that Jamal was connected, everything changed. She confronted him not as an enemy, but as someone who still believed in him, but Jamal couldn't risk exposure. He didn't threaten her, but he made it clear she needed to stay out of it. That moment shattered the fragile bond they'd built. And in Jamal's eyes, one more light went out. Asterisk at home, things weren't easier. Asterisk Jamal's mom, once a nurse with steady hands and endless patience, was now battling lupus. Her body was giving out. The medical bills kept growing. Insurance denied the best treatments, and Jamal, desperate to keep her alive, started accepting deals he swore he never would. He worked with men who made his skin crawl. He ran product across parts of the city he used to avoid. He played both sides, just two. Yet enough cash for the next round of medication. Each move he made chipped away at his soul, but in his mind, it was worth it. Everything was for her. Asterisk by the end of season 6, Jamal stood alone at the edge of everything. Friends gone, family hurting, love lost, respect gained, but not the kind he wanted. People didn't see the boy who used to write lyrics in a notebook. They saw a threat, a problem, a leader, and leaders have to make hard choices. Asterisk, that's when the whispers began. Rival crews plotting against him, feds circling the block, old enemies popping up with new heat. And through it all, Jamal didn't flinch. He was tired, yes, wounded, definitely, but afraid. No, if anything, he was becoming exactly what the streets wanted him to be: cold, fearless, unpredictable. Asterisk, but that's also when he started to ask himself a question he hadn't dared say out loud. How far is too far? Asterisk, he thought about Marcus, about Mia, about his little brother's empty room. He thought about the kind of man he was becoming. And for a brief moment, Jamal wondered if survival was worth it. If staying alive meant killing everything good inside him. Asterisk, because there's a difference between living and just not dying. Asterisk, and Jamal. He was tired of just not dying. It started with a phone call Jamal never expected. Asterisk, late at night. Rain hitting the windows. The streets quiet, too quiet. He picked up, and all he heard was one word: run. No name, no explanation, just silence after that. That's when Jamal knew everything had changed. Asterisk, season 7 didn't ease in gently. It came in like a punch to the gut. Episode 1 opens with Jamal on the move, ducking into alleyways, checking his back, his hoodie soaked, heart racing. Someone wants him gone, not just out of the game, gone. And whoever it is, they're close. Asterisk, word on the street is that someone in Jamal's circle flipped. That's the danger. When you climb too high, you stop seeing who's pulling the strings beneath you. Jamal thought he had control. He thought the people around him were solid, but now he's not sure who to trust. The shooter wasn't a warning, it was a message. And Jamal's smart enough to know the next one won't miss. Asterisk, but it's not just the streets turning against him, it's the system too. There's a new detective in town. Detective Ramos, quiet, sharp, no nonsense. She's got a file on Jamal thicker than a Bible and a vendetta she hasn't explained yet. But she's everywhere, following his crew, asking questions, popping up at places he thought were safe. She doesn't want to arrest him, not yet. She wants to break him, slowly. Asterisk, Jamal tries to lay low, but everything keeps pulling him back in. The crew's falling apart. Rico, his second in command, is getting reckless, making deals behind Jamal's back, flashing money, drawing heat. There's tension in every conversation, like a fight waiting to happen. Jamal knows Rico wants more, maybe even wants him out of the way, but Jamal's not backing down, not. Now, asterisk, and then there's DRE. Asterisk, DRE just got out after doing 4 years upstate. used to be Jamal's boy. They were tight, like brothers, but Dre's changed. He's colder, sharper, and he's watching Jamal like he's got something to prove. The moment Dre stepped back into the neighborhood, the whole energy shifted. Some of the younger guys started looking to him for direction, like they forgot who kept them fed and safe while Dre was gone. Jamal feels the walls closing in from the outside, from the inside, even from the past. But even with all this chaos, Jamal's still trying to do one thing right, keep his mom alive. That betrayal cuts deep. Jamal starts losing control. He stops trusting. He starts making mistakes, hurting people who don't deserve it. Getting paranoid. Paranoid turns into reckless. And just when you think he might spiral out completely, he finds something, a letter, from his brother, hidden in an old shoebox. It's from years ago, before he died. Inside, a single line, "Don't let this city turn you into something you're not." Jamal reads it 3 times, then again. Then he just sits there, holding it, like it's the only thing keeping him from falling all the way apart. He knows what's coming. He can feel it. Someone's going to die this season. Maybe more than one. But the real question isn't just will Jamal make it to the end? Or is he already too far gone to save? Her condition's worse now. She's not getting out of bed. The meds aren't working. The doctors are talking hospice. Jamal doesn't want to hear it. He's pouring every dollar he has, clean or dirty, into treatments, private nurses, herbal cures, even old-school remedies from Miss Loretta down the block who swears by them. Nothing's working, and Jamal's patience is cracking. You can see it in his eyes. He's tired of playing by anyone's rules. He visits her one night, brings her soup and sits by her bed. She opens her eyes, just barely, looks at him and says, "This isn't who you are, baby." That hits him harder than any bullet ever could, because deep down, part of him still wants to believe her. Still wants to believe there's a way out. But as he leaves her apartment and sees a car tailing him down 63rd, he remembers what he's become and what he has to do. Meanwhile, Nia's back. Not by choice. Her younger cousin got caught up with some of Jamal's rivals. Wrong place, wrong time, and now she's back in Chicago trying to get answers. She runs into Jamal at the corner store. It's awkward, heavy. He says, "You good?" She says, "Don't pretend you care." But she knows he does, and Jamal, he never stopped. The way they look at each other says everything. But their timing, it's always off. No wants nothing to do with his world. She sees the blood on his hands. Still, she asks for help. Just one favor. Jamal doesn't hesitate. That night, he makes the call, gets the kid released. But it comes at a price. Now he owes someone he shouldn't owe. And once you're in debt in this world, there's no such thing as a clean exit. As the season pushes forward, everything gets tighter. More bodies drop. A crew from the west side makes a move on Jamal's territory. Detective Ramos pressures his mom's landlord into eviction. Rico makes a power play that nearly gets Jamal ambushed. Dre offers him a deal to join forces, but it smells like a setup. And then Jamal finds out the hardest truth yet. The one who gave away his location on that first night, the reason he had to run, was someone he once called family. That. Betrayal cuts deep. Jamal starts losing control. He stops trusting. He starts making mistakes, hurting people who don't deserve it. Getting paranoid. Paranoid turns into reckless. And just when you think he might spiral out completely, he finds something, a letter, from his brother, hidden in an old shoebox. It's from years ago, before he died. Inside, a single line, "Don't let this city turn you into something you're not." Jamal reads it 3 times, then again. Then he just sits there, holding it, like it's the only thing keeping him from falling all the way apart. Asterisk, he knows what's coming. He can feel it. Asterisk, someone's going to die this season. Maybe more than one. Asterisk, but the real question isn't just who. It's will Jamal make it to the end? Asterisk, or is he already too far gone to save? Asterisk, at 2:17 a.m., 3 men broke into a stash house Jamal had locked down for months. No noise, no warning, no signs left behind except one. A single red playing card taped to the wall, the number 7 written on it in black marker. That was the message. They're coming, and they're counting down. Jamal isn't just in a fight anymore, he's in a war. But this time, the bullets are quieter, the enemies are smarter, and the betrayal is personal. Season 7 has turned the streets of Chicago into a chessboard. And Jamal, he's the king under siege. At the center of the storm is Rico, the right hand man who's no longer playing second. Rico's always wanted more. But now he's making moves that say he doesn't just want Jamal's seat, he wants his name, his reputation, his crown. Quiet rumors swirl that Rico's been making side deals with someone from the West Side crew. Someone with money, muscle, and a score to settle. Jamal starts noticing changes. Money going missing, foot soldiers hesitating. On his orders, corners that used to stay quiet suddenly going hot with police presence. At first, he thinks it's coincidence. But nothing in the chi is random, not when you're at the top. And then one of his oldest crew members, Tone, vanishes. No call. No goodbye, just gone. Tone was solid, loyal from day one, the kind of man who would take a bullet for Jamal without blinking. When his body turns up behind an abandoned warehouse, shot twice in the back and left like trash, Jamal doesn't cry. He doesn't yell. He doesn't even speak. He just stares at the ground and clenches his jaw because now it's clear this isn't business. It's personal. Enemies aren't just outside anymore. They're inside the circle. Rico is throwing parties now. Expensive ones, loud ones. People who used to answer to Jamal are suddenly showing up there, laughing, drinking, posing for pictures. It feels like betrayal in real time, like watching your own house get robbed while you're standing on the front porch. And then there's Dre. Dre keeps hovering, just far enough not to be a threat, but close enough to make Jamal nervous. He starts giving advice Jamal didn't ask for. You're slipping, bro, he says. People don't feel safe no more. The words hang heavy in the air. Jamal doesn't respond. But the look in his eyes says everything. If I fall, I'll take you with me. Meanwhile, Detective Ramos isn't backing off. She's pressing every angle. She shows up at Jamal's mom's church, leaves her card with the pastor, starts talking to kids outside the rec center. She knows the game, make him look like the villain, even to the people who still believe in him. But Ramos isn't just looking for an arrest. She wants to destroy his name before she puts the cuffs on. She's building a case built on whispers, old wounds, and fear. And she's got time. The question is, does Jamal? Because the countdown has already started. Who left that red playing card? Who's counting down to something? Rico, Dre, someone even bigger. The tension is so thick, even. Jamal's crew starts asking questions. Malik, the youngest of the bunch, comes to him one night and says, "Yo, why we losing people like this? Why we not striking back?" Jamal doesn't answer right away. He just says, "Because we don't fire until we know exactly who we're hitting." It's not fear, it's precision. But even precision has limits when you're surrounded by ghosts. And then, out of nowhere, a deal appears. A message arrives through a burner phone Jamal hasn't used in over a year. A meeting, neutral territory, come alone. It smells like a trap, but he goes anyway. And who's waiting? Q, the ghost of the old regime. The man who once ran the South Side before Reggie, before Jamal, before any of them, nobody's seen him in years. Most thought he was dead, but here he is, sitting in a leather chair at the back of a cold warehouse, holding that red card between two fingers. He offers Jamal something unexpected, protection. I see what they doing to you. Q says, and I don't like it. You ain't built for betrayal, kid. You built for war. Let me help you, but Jamal knows better. Q doesn't help unless there's something in it for him. The offer is poison, wrapped in silk. Jamal says no for now, but walking out of that warehouse, he feels something shift. If Q's back, it means there are bigger plans unfolding. And Jamal might just be a piece in someone else's game. The realization shakes him, but it doesn't break him. Not yet. He returns to his block, watches Rico from a distance, watches. Dre watches his own crew scatter like birds every time a car rolls by slow. And for the first time, Jamal isn't wondering if someone's coming for him. There's no traffic outside, no music from the corner. Not even the usual arguments echoing through the alleyways. It's the kind of silence you only hear right before something ends or right before something explodes. Jamal stands alone on the rooftop of the building where he took his first steps as a kid. The city he loves is spread out in front of him like a battlefield. Behind him, everything he's built. In front of him, everything he might still lose. He knows this is it. This is where the story either breaks or bends. Because in the end, it all comes down to a choice. Not a shootout, not a betrayal, not a deal. A decision. And Jamal has 3 options, none of them clean. None of them easy. Option 1. He walks away. Takes what money he has left, grabs his mom. Maybe even, if she come and disappears. There are ways, cities where nobody knows his name. Places where he could be just another man with a past he doesn't talk about. But Jamal's never been a runner. And every time he imagines disappearing, he sees his brother's face. He hears his mom's voice, and he wonders if he leaves, who keeps the streets from falling into chaos? Who protects the young ones from becoming just another statistic? Option 2. He goes toward ... burns everything down. Calls out Rico, crushes Dre, brings the fight straight to Detective Ramos's doorstep. It would be easy, almost. One night of blood, one message sent loud and clear. Make them fear him again, but fear only lasts so long. And this kind of war, nobody walks away clean. Bodies fall, families get hurt. And the cycle just starts over. Jamal's tired of cycles, tired of blood, tired of burying his people. Option 3. He flips the board. Makes a move nobody sees coming. Turns himself in, not out of guilt, but out of strategy. Makes a deal, leverages names, power, information. Not to escape punishment, but to reset the game. Jamal knows things, deep things. About men in suits and cops with secrets. He's been at the table long enough to know how the system really works. But the risk. If he plays that card wrong, he dies, either in a cell or long before he ever gets there. And then his phone buzzes. 1 text. Tonight. 1 p.m. Parking lot behind Big T's. Come alone. No name. No signature. Just coordinates and fate. He thinks about ignoring it. But he can't. He knows what this is, the final call, the last test. A place where everything that's been building all season, every betrayal, every loss, every mistake comes to a head. He shows up alone, no crew, no heat. Just a gray hoodie and the weight of 7 seasons on his back. Rico is already there. Leaning against the hood of a car like he's got nothing to worry about. A cigarette in his hand, a smirk on his face. But Jamal sees it, the twitch in his fingers, the fear behind his eyes. Rico's tough, but he's never had to look death in the face without backup. And now. There's no one else left. They talk. Asterisk quiet at first. Words that feel like smoke. It ain't personal, Rico. Says it's just my turn. But Jamal isn't buying it. Because it was always personal. Rico didn't just want the block. He wanted to erase Jamal, rewrite the legend. Replace his name in the stories the kids tell. Asterisk and Jamal. He won't let that happen. Asterisk, but then Rico pulls the wild card. He brings. Outtone's younger brother. Asterisk the boy is shaking. Hands tied. Bruises on his cheek. Rico says, you walk away now. He lives. You make a move. He dies. It's cruel. Calculated, but effective. Asterisk and just like that, the decision changes. Asterisk now. It's not about legacy. Or power. Or revenge. Asterisk it's about who Jamal really is. Asterisk the same kid who used to walk these streets with his brother. The same man who sat by his mother's bedside and promised her he'd make it out clean. The same heart that once loved Nya. Enough to imagine a different life. Asterisk Jamal steps forward. Asterisk he tells Rico something that echoes louder than a gunshot. Asterisk you think this ends with me. You think my name dies tonight? It won't. Because you forgot the one thing that matters most. I never did this for power. I did it so we could all survive. Asterisk and then. Chaos. Asterisk a gunshot rings out. Asterisk, but it doesn't hit Jamal. Asterisk it hits Rico. From behind, asterisk Detective Ramos steps out from the shadows. Asterisk I needed proof, she says. Now I've got it. Asterisk turns out. Jamal flipped the board after all. Asterisk he knew the meeting was a trap. And he used it, recorded the whole thing, sent the location to Ramos an hour before. He sacrificed control to reclaim something bigger. Asterisk not just freedom, not just survival. Asterisk redemption. Asterisk in the end, Jamal doesn't walk away a king. Asterisk he walks away a man. Asterisk changed, scarred, still hunted. But alive, and with one last whisper to his dying mother's photo in his wallet, he says, I kept my promise, Ma. I made it. It started with a funeral that nobody came to. Asterisk no prayers. Asterisk no flowers. Asterisk not even a name on the stone. Asterisk just Jamal. Standing there, in the pouring rain, staring at a box in the ground that once held the last person who ever truly knew him. Asterisk not. The Jamal with a Glock. Asterisk not the Jamal with turf. Asterisk not the boss, not the leader, not the threat. Asterisk but the boy. Asterisk the kid who once wanted to play drums. Asterisk who used to bring home library books. Asterisk who once told his mother, I'm gonna change things. Asterisk now. That version of him. Buried. Asterisk and that's when it hit him. Asterisk sometimes survival means letting a part of you die. Asterisk because season 7. It's not just about turf wars. It's about legacy, about consequences, about deciding what kind of man you're gonna be when everything falls apart. Asterisk and Jamal is out of time. Asterisk, asterisk. But the scariest part, Jamal's no longer sure if he's fighting to live or just refusing to die. Asterisk, he sits in the back room of a barber shop, lights off. Door locked, trying to think. Asterisk in front of him, a burner phone. Asterisk 3 missed calls. Asterisk 1 final message from an unknown number. Asterisk choose your ending. Asterisk he laughs, bitter, like this is a game, like any of this feels like a choice. But deep down, Jamal knows that text is right. This is it. This is the final move. Asterisk not on the street. Asterisk not with a gun. Asterisk, but in here. Asterisk in his mind, in his soul. Asterisk does he burn it all down? Asterisk, or does he finally break the cycle? Asterisk and that's when Neil walks in. Asterisk no warning. No knock. Asterisk he doesn't ask questions. She just sits across from him, eyes red. They took my cousin, she says, shot him like he was nothing. And now they're waiting on you to answer. What are you gonna do, Jamal? Asterisk that silence, heavy. Years in the making. Asterisk he looks her in the eye and says, asterisk, I don't know how to be anything else. Asterisk, but Nia's not having it. She fires back. Asterisk then becomes something else. Be the man who ends this. Not the man who wins it. Asterisk outside. The city breathes, but only barely. Asterisk hops circle. Cruise circle, pain circles, asterisk, and in the middle of it. All of Jamal gets in his car and drives, not toward the trap Rico set, asterisk, but toward the truth. Asterisk he walks into Ramos's precinct. Asterisk unarmed, calm, cold. Asterisk he drops a flash drive on her desk. Asterisk everything he knows. Asterisk names, bank accounts, deals, locations, dates. Asterisk I'm not here to snitch. He says, I'm here to end it. Asterisk she narrows her eyes. Why now? Asterisk Jamal's voice breaks. Asterisk because the only thing worse than dying in the game is living in it forever. Asterisk and just like that, the game shifts. Asterisk Rico is arrested within 48 hours. Asterisk Dre disappears. Asterisk shooting stop. Asterisk blocks go quiet. Asterisk and for the first time in years, the city exhales. Asterisk but Jamal. He doesn't walk away clean. Asterisk he doesn't get a parade. Asterisk he doesn't get a fresh start. Asterisk he gets a quiet apartment 2 counties over. Asterisk he gets a phone that never rings. Asterisk he gets long drives and even longer nights. Asterisk he gets freedom, but not peace. Asterisk until one day he visits the grave again. Asterisk only now. There's a new headstone beside it. Asterisk his mom. Asterisk the woman who always believed there was more to him than the streets ever let him show. Asterisk he kneels down, touches the cold marble, and says the words he's been carrying all season. Asterisk I made it. Ma. Asterisk not out clean. Asterisk not out whole. Asterisk but I made it out alive. Asterisk that's the final choice. Asterisk not glory. Asterisk not revenge. Asterisk but survival with scars. Asterisk because sometimes. Asterisk winning means walking away. Asterisk even if the streets never forget your name. Asterisk asterisk.